Hi, my name is Fernando de Dios. I'm the founder and CEO of Nextrocket, a no-code agency. And I started this business with my tech partner, Andres, a year ago. And we mostly do Bubble projects and Flutterflow projects as well. We currently have two Bubble developers and two Flutterflow developers. And those are most of the projects that we work on with that tech stack. We are based in Lima, Peru, and most of our clients are from Latin America and from the States as well.
What were the beginnings of your agency and why no code?
Okay, great. We started Nextrocket a year ago in 2023. This is our second year, 2024, and I think in this whole year we had a lot of experience and learning experiences as well. I think that the beginning, the first 6 months, they were very challenging, related to commercial and customer acquisition. We were focusing mainly on Latin America, and I think in Latin America, the adoption of no-code tools or no-code projects are not quite there yet. I think we're a little bit behind from compared to the States or Europe, for instance. But then we focus our commercial efforts on trying to gain clients outside of Latin America, and we focus on the States in America. And mostly in Miami, there are a lot of Latinos and Hispanic people there, so I think we were very related to them. Also in Los Angeles, and mostly in those two cities. I think that was the thing that we learned the most and the most challenging. And why did we chose no code? I think because of the agility. Like it's awesome how fast you can develop projects. It's awesome how cost efficient is to develop in no code. I mean, it's there's still the process of designing the analysis, then the development, but I think we chose it because of the agility, how fast you can do it, and I think it's a huge commercial advantage for our clients as well, how fast they can develop.
How about you? What were you doing before launching the agency?
Oh, before launching the agency, well, my background is not in tech. My background is I'm not an engineer. I studied first psychology, then I changed to business and marketing, and I'm basically a true entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since 10 years ago. I'm 32 now. I did my first company when I was 23. It was really cool. It was a skateboard company. Then I made a startup in 2018. It was an online cooking school for chefs. It was a professional cooking school. It was something like masterclass in the States, but just focusing on professional chefs in Latin America and Spain. Actually, in the year 2021, we sold it. We got acquired by our biggest competitor in Europe. So that was a really great experience. And I was the founder, the CEO. My focus was in acquisition, commercial, marketing, business. And actually, in that project, in that business, that's where I realized that no code was a thing because we didn't build our LMS. We use Teachable, and then we were transitioning to Bubble to create something on Bubble. Then we got acquired, and that's the moment when I realized, oh man, no code, it's something, and I have to do something with it. Um, so I changed my path from basically edtech, education technologies, to getting to know the technology, getting to know the tools, getting to know the market. And that's the reason why I started this software no code agency to get really deep into these tools. And yeah, that's basically my background. That's the reason why I need a tech partner like Andres, and he's a guy like he had been working on agencies for the past 6 years, I think, like traditional agencies. And when we partnered up, it's very clear that no code was the path to build projects.
How about challenges related with no code? You already mentioned some related to local market. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, sure. Sure. I think if I think about challenges in the no code industry, I mean, there are challenges everywhere, but the specific to no code, I think the first at least in North America, that where we are based, I think the market adoption, we're not quite there. Like small companies, medium companies, even enterprise companies don't actually have confidence of no-code tools. So it's really hard to sell the services here in Latin America, in Peru, in Mexico, or in Argentina, for instance. So I think that's like the most important challenge in this part of the world. I think the market adoption in America it's bigger. I think there are a lot of people that actually believe in no code and know the 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 good things, the bad things about it. So I would say the first challenge is market adoption. The second, I think, it's from my personal experience, the quality of the providers. I think because no code tools, like the learning curve it's like easier, quote unquote, because it's not easy, but at least easier than coding. I think there are a lot of people that learn a little bit about Bubble, learn a little bit about Flutterflow, and they sell you their services, and they're actually not quality services. Because you need to know about architecture, you need to know about how to make a platform efficient, how to make it scalable. So I think the second challenge would be filtering the providers or the talent, you know. And the third, I would say, I don't know if it's a challenge or opportunity or maybe both. It's education, you know, education about what no code tools can do for you. I think right now most of the focus is on entrepreneurship, like building SaaS, building MVPs, building that is great because that's awesome. That's a great use case, but you can also build great enterprise platforms for medium companies or even for big enterprise companies using local tools, no code tools, or local tools. But getting to that point, I think, is the challenge. You know, so I think most of the people in the industry, like you, like me, we have to make a lot of effort to create educational content to educate the market about this.
Can you describe one significant milestone you reached so far in your agency?
Sure, sure. Well, it's not related to project development per se. It's more related about education or marketing strategy. We did at the last year, like in November, we did a workshop. We're trying to educate people about no code. So we focus on entrepreneurs here in Latin America, in Mexico, Peru, and other countries, Colombia as well. And almost 300 people sign in this workshop, and we were working one to one with just 12 of them. It was like a big thing. It had a lot of hype, and we're going to do it again this year. So after this workshop, we get known among um, incubators, venture builders, entrepreneurs, and all the startup ecosystem here in Latin America. So it got some awareness. And since there, we have been working with some entrepreneurs, and we made some partnerships with other institutions as well. So I think that like strategy or tactic, it's a significant milestone related to marketing and the commercial area. Yeah, that's how we are actually acquiring customers right now. So I think that was like a really good realization of how can you acquire customers. This is a learning management system we created for an English academy, and now we're going to create a new user. Once you sign up, you will find this dashboard where you can find three quizzes or tests: a reading test, a listening test, and a grammar test. You need to go through this so we can assign you or determine your English level. Inside the quizzes, you will find the progress bar, you will find the timer, and all the behavior of a normal quiz, like questions, multiple choice, single choice answers, and more. Once you finish your quizzes, you'll get your English level, and you can accept it or you can talk to someone in charge if you don't agree with it. Let's say you accept it. Now you have to subscribe to your membership plan. We go to Stripe.
You add your credit card info, you pay, and now you'll get 30 days free access. Once you subscribe, you will see an onboarding video, and then you'll find your dashboard. In your dashboard, you'll find different things like announcements, things that the academy want to share with the community. You'll find your classes. You will find also your progress on modules and also a calendar. So you can see all the classes you booked. Then you can see the classes itself. It have modules, topics, lessons, different type of lessons like PDF lessons or video lessons. And you also have the button of complete, so you can see the changes in the progress bar. Also, you'll find quizzes. The tests and quizzes have the same behavior as the previous one, nothing too fancy, very straightforward. And once you complete your classes, you can also go to teachers. You can see the list of teachers you have on the school. And let's say you want to chat with one of them, like Simon Bray, just want to say hi, or maybe, I don't know, you want to talk about the feedback of some lesson or feedback about some homework you have. You can do it in this section. Then you can see the payment, the subscription status, if you're active or inactive. Also, you have a Discord channel to talk to the community, some benefits, if you have some discounts for different stores or anything like that. And finally, you will find your profile. So you can edit your photo, your profile picture, or the main picture as well, and all your basic information. You just save the changes, and that would be it.
From your perspective, how has no-code changed the way we create software compared to traditional software development?
I think it changes a lot. I mean, because it's faster, I think it's leaner, cost efficient. I think like the game changed. You know, I think it's more like democratizing development, democratizing tech. I think that would be the best way to describe it. For instance, if you want to talk about specific things like how I think, or how I see things are changing, is that developers, for instance, I think right now it's not enough just knowing how to be a developer. Be- like being really good at Babel, like it's awesome, but I think right now developers need to acquire even more skills right now, because I think it's going to be commoditized in the next years, like development, the service, creating platforms. I think because it's now accessible to everyone, I think probably there are going to be 10x more developers. So I think one of the first things that I see is that developers will have to acquire new skills like communication, like teamwork, like product management, design. You will need to know how to structure your database and the front end as well. It's I think you will have to truly be full stack in the true sense, in the true sense of the word. And not only that, I think also you will need to be really good at business analysis, for instance, or quality assurance. I think developers will have to do even more roles, and I think that's one of the changes that I'm seeing in firsthand. And other things that I can see is maintenance of a platform that we deliver. When we deliver a platform, it's so much easy for us to maintain that platform, to build new features. And if, for instance, if we need to change the developer because this developer have other things to do, we can do it now in a really easier way, in an easier way than with traditional coding. And this give us independence, as an agency or as a client or as a product owner. It give you a lot of independence, and I think that's so important. And and yeah, I think basically the word I think would be, or how I would describe it, is democratized, and probably it would become as a commodity a couple of years from now.
Could you give us an example where no-code offered a distinct advantage over the traditional software development from your experience, from your projects, from your
Mhm.
clients?
Sure. Right now, we're just finishing up a project with a Peruvian startup. They are an English academy focused on coders and programmers. They basically teach Latin American coders and Latin American to the Latin America tech ecosystem and community English, so they can find clients in the States or in Europe or wherever they want. So we developed their learning management system. It was a really big platform. It took us like 4 months only development, from 3 to 4 months only development, because we also had the business analysis, the design phase, the Q&A, and all the stuff. But it was very surprising that they were really surprised that we could achieve this in 3 months, like only the development in 3 to 4 months. And I could see that they realized that it was a game changer for them, because um, they were assuming that this kind of platform, this complexity, would take at least 10 months to build, and probably 5 times more in money, I would say, in the budget investment. I think that's like a real clear example of how no code actually have a huge advantage. And after we deliver this platform, all the change requests or adding new features, or maintaining the platform, it's so much easier for us, and it's not a headache at all, and we can manage it in an easy way and provide a great service.
What are the common misconceptions about no-code you encounter and how do you address them?
Mm, okay, so I can relate to that, because at the beginning I was a little bit skeptical. So I had those misconceptions at the beginning also, but then I realized that they're, how you say, like you're saying, misconceptions. But I think the biggest misconception people have is that no code tools are like toys and easy to use. Like, they're not easy to use. If you use, for instance, Flow or Bubble, like, you really have to learn how to use it. Maybe you can use some simpler um, no code tools that you can learn how to use them really quick. They're limited, of course. They're to build internal tools probably. But if you want to use Bubble or Flutterflow or WeWeb, for instance, you really have to learn how to use them in an efficient way and use it properly, and to learn how to make something scalable and efficient, you have to really know how to use it, how to structure your data, how to structure or design the architecture. I think that's the first misconception that I always encounter, that getting to use these tools is it's easy. That they're not easy to use. You have to really learn, and to be a proficient developer or a really experienced developer, I would say that you will need to at least 2 years building every week to call yourself a like really expert developer. You know. The second misconception that I think there is in the industry is that, okay, that it's not scalable. I think it is scalable if you know how to structure your platform and make it scalable. You can easily make something not scalable if you want to build it fast and just to prove a concept. That's fine. But if you want to build something to get to the second stage of your business or the third stage of your business, you have to build something scalable, and you can achieve that with certain no-code tools. And I think most people don't know about it, or think that these tools are not capable of doing so. And the third misconception, I would say, is that it's cheap. Cheap in the meaning that I think it's really cost efficient. Like, cost efficient for me is totally different from cheap. Cheap is something that costs you basically nothing but don't give you value. I think no code tools are cost efficient, are really cost efficient, but they're not cheap. So sometimes I have just not to struggle, but to deal with clients that assume that a project would be really cheap. Uh, so it's me trying to convince them that no, it's not cheap, it's cost efficient, but this is how much it is. So I think That's another misconception as well, at least from the commercial side.
What are your predictions for the future of no-code development in the upcoming years?
Mm,
Any trends, technologies that you find particularly exciting?
sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think no code, low code, AI, it's going to be huge, and like huge, really huge soon. And from my perspective, and because I'm based in Latin America, I live in Latin America and I know the Latin American market. I think it's going to be a totally game changer in a couple of years from now. And yeah, I know it's going to be huge. And that's the reason also I think the platform, the service, and all related to product development will become a commodity because it's going to be democratized. And I think distribution, acquisition for I mean for instance, SaaS entrepreneurs, SaaS founders, distribution and user acquisition will become even more relevant than now because development will be easier or faster, not easier, but faster and more accessible. So I think that would be my first prediction. Um, Second thing related to that is the amount of developers. I think there will be a huge amount of developers now, no code developers, because it's more accessible and that will reduce the cost, that will reduce the barriers that people or traditional businesses have to digitalize to build their products. So I think that's a huge thing. I also think about another prediction is about education. I think because of of the learning curve of no code tools, there is a huge and I think a huge opportunity for educational technologies to educate and train new developers in with these tools and also not only in building products but also in automation. You know, I think that probably some companies or startups that could focus on upskilling the enterprise workers to to educate them to know how to use these no code tools like Zapier, Airtable, will make also or Glide. If there's a company that actually can achieve to teach these people how to automate work, I think that's a big opportunity and they can get a big company out of it. So I would say, and of course, AI, the process of building products, I think is also a prediction. It's not a prediction, you know, people. I think everyone knows that not far from now, AI will help us to build tools and the development process will be even faster. So I'm really curious about how AI is going to impact in the industry of development, how it's going to impact on the project, the development of products. Yeah, I'm very curious about that. So I think that would be my predictions. I can say it that way.
What advice would you give to the aspiring developers that are interested in the no-code space?
Mm.
Give one advice why they should start with no-code and one reason why they might hesitate.
Mm. Um, an advice on future or aspiring no code developers. I would talk to two different segments. The first, if you are non-tech, a person that have no background in tech, like an engineer or software development, you need to really understand how things work. You know, you have to understand what is UX UI design. You need to learn about the basics of computer science. You need to know about project management, the basics of databases, API integrations, the fundamentals. You know, because you really, if you don't have a background in technology, you really have to deep dive into that knowledge. Not only knowing how to use Babel or Flutterflow, like you really know how things work. That would be my advice for non-tech people that want to become developers or no-code developers. I'm thinking about people that just want to change careers, you know. And if you are someone that actually have background in technology, like software engineer, or maybe you are something related to that, and you know those things. Of course, learn your tool. That's like the most important part. But acquire other skills as well. Not Don't think you're going to be just a developer. You're going to need more skills like communication skills, teamwork. You will know to know how to manage a project. You will have to know how to sell, for instance. That's a really important skills that developers need to know now. You'll need to know how to talk to customers. You'll need to know how to talk to stakeholders as well. um, and like I said before, you will have to really truly be full stack in the whole sense of the word. I think that would be my advice for aspiring developers. Why they shouldn't do no code? I think that's the first time I'm thinking about it. I'm so into go no code, full no code, and I cannot think a reason why they shouldn't. I think they should try it, of course. Um, but maybe if you want to just learn how to code and go deep into learning a framework or a language, like I don't know, you want to learn Python because you want to do something, work with AI, go and learn straight to Python, for instance. You know, but yeah, I cannot think about any other reason why you shouldn't learn no code.